So, Christoph, why are most people overwhelmed by the topic of money?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for everybody. I can speak for myself. I think the reason I am often like overwhelmed by money is it just like there's so much info out there, so you always feel like you're like not doing it right or like missing out on something, and then it's like also like so high stakes. But then
Yeah.
also it's like I just don't enjoy like going into the details of like I
Mm.
don't even know like where I stand. No, I have this like weekly habit where I try to identify like what's like an emotion I'm kind of getting away from or
Mm.
like I'm ignoring. And like the last few weeks, it's been money. It's just like
Mm.
I know like there is some anxiety there. You know, I started a startup. I basically live off of my savings right now.
Mm.
And I'm just like yeah, I'll deal with it later, right? Because it feels like so big, so complex, like figuring what's actually going on. But that's exactly what we want to try to do today, which is like actually getting some transparency and some clarity on your money as like a first step to then once you understand your situation you can like figure out like do you need to adjust your spending, like save
Mm.
more or whatever. But the first step should always be like okay, like, where am I actually with my money? And to start with this, I was like, okay, like how can you do this under 1 hour? That was my challenge to myself today. I also didn't have more time, so that was good. And the good thing is, like maybe 3 years ago, there were like all these apps that you can use, right? Connect your bank account to, it'll like do some stats. It would like try to categorize stuff. I tried a few of them. It never really worked. My banking app also tries this. It like has some like charts, doesn't like all super frustrating. But we have AI now, right? So the super easy thing anybody can do is just like go to your banking app, get an export of like last year worth of transactions. If you have more than one account, just like get them from a few, shove them into Claude and like let Claude do the dirty work. Right? Like that's what I did. I was like, here, this is like my financial history for last year. Just like help me understand what's going on. And then when you want to understand what's going on, it's like two things basically. How much money is going in and
Mm.
where is the money going once it's in? And I think Claude usually does a good job or this already trying to identifying like what makes sense to look at versus not, right? Like it's easy to like go down these rabbit holes of like, okay, like a little bit here for some ice
Yeah.
cream and then a little bit there for a cappuccino. It's like, no, right? Like most people spend most of their money on housing, on transportation,
Mm.
and on food. Get a handle on those three categories of outflows. And that already gives you like a very, very good understanding of where you stand. So yeah, first suggestion would be just do that, pull out the money, put it into Claude. Takes 10 minutes. You can have a bit of a conversation about it. It's actually fun. You'll learn a few things. And yeah, it really helped me when I did this morning. It's like some anxiety falling off. It's like, and I mean, you can change it. No, it's like you can change how much money is going in and or like how much money went
Mm.
out the last few months. But at least you understand it better. And then
Yeah.
from there, you kind of think through it a little bit. One thing that you can then also start doing, it's more of a habit building thing. But as part of my weekly habit, I usually just look at like the transactions in the last week. It's like what kind of went in and out. And that's more to like catch like these weird, like recurring
Yeah.
subscriptions. Like I caught last week this $200 like VPN renewal. I was
Mm.
like, what is this? Like, and of course, it was like this thing where like 2 years ago I subscribed, and then it was a special offer, and then I forgot to. Whatever, they gave me
Mm.
a refund. It's all solved. But like having a weekly habit of just checking is like, where did money go last week? At least
Mhm.
helps me also like to a little bit to just feel a feeling of control, and that takes like 2 minutes usually.
Yeah, I've also used the AI to sweep through and like look for subscriptions because I find this is the thing. I'm like, it's just like disappearing from my account, like no notice, and yeah, I can pick up a few that like you're not using anymore. I've also had this thing where it's like a yearly thing that renews. You're like, what the hell even is this? Like it's a choice you made a year ago. You're probably not even using it, so it's quite good at like sweeping and picking up those as
Yeah.
well.
But again, I feel like a lot of people worry about those subscriptions, and there are like these stories like those, right?
Mm.
But then
Mm.
in the grand scheme of things, most money probably goes to like housing,
Yeah.
transportation, food.
Yeah.
So I think those are really the important ones to focus on. All
Mm.
right. So once you have this, next step is then try to project a little bit, right? And this like highly depends on where you are in your life, right? If you're like
Mm.
stable job, have kids, it's like have a mortgage, everything kind of like just running on autopilot, then like you
Mm.
can plan for like the next 20 years and like figure out where you end up for like your retirement, right? For me, like, I don't have a job right now. I'm like starting a startup. Who knows if that startup still exists in a year? My projection tends to be more like next half year, next year. Like take
Mm,
the horizon that makes sense for you. That's like decision relevant, right? But then basically just ask Claude. It's like, hey, like give me a quick projection, right? For me, this then helps me
mm,
understand how long is my runway going to last. For
yeah.
somebody who like is like a very stable life, it helps them maybe figure out, okay, like if I just keep going like this, how much money will I have for retirement? These kind of things. And again, this is going to be like super rough, but this is the point of this, right? Like just get a high level idea, and then you can always dig in more later.
Yeah, that makes sense. And does it give much like I'm kind of curious more like, qualitative advice? Like could you just send it your statements and be like tell me what my problem is in terms of the AI?
So it did for me a little bit, I guess. Like was like, hey, like what are these things? Should you really be spending money on this? Um, And then it also helped me. I think I have this, like some things I'm like super easy to spend money on, and then some other things like eating out is like
Mm,
for me something that was like a bigger blocker. And then it was
mm,
super easy to just be like, hey Claude, like how much time, like how much did I actually spend on this?
mm,
How relevant is that as a category versus the other stuff?
yeah, yeah.
And for me, it was like, not that high actually. Maybe
Mm,
I just
mm,
shouldn't worry about this.
mm, mm,
Um, and I think this also links to the next and the last idea in this like create transparency on your money topic. It's like, sure, like you can talk with an AI about like where money is going and then you get high level stats. But another very different area is like your relationship with money. Right? It's like
mhm,
and there I think it's actually often overlooked, but affects most of your decisions around money. Like most people don't like take like super rational decisions when it comes to money. Right? It's like a lot of like is driven by like anxiety or just
mm,
like I want this thing or by like
mm,
your belief about like what money is and what it serves. And actually there's these so-called money scripts that
mm,
come from research that have been shown to all have kind of a negative effect on like how you
yeah.
spend your money. And these are the first one, I have to look this up. It's like a worship relationship to it. It's like you believe that like money just solves all problems, right? The second one is more of like that money is like something evil that should be avoided. It's like dirty. It's like you shouldn't have money, right? Money
Mm,
is like
mm,
it's like something that just creates issues and maybe that you just don't deserve, or only people
mm,
who like did ethically questionable things have money, right? Like this also, as you can imagine, isn't very constructive.
okay.
Another one is that it's status, that to you money really equals net worth. And then the fourth one is this kind of vigilance idea that you should kind of question every single decision around money. This one is sometimes helpful because it at least doesn't result in you gambling money away or it like being like
Mm,
super responsible with your money, but it can have the effect that you're just not enjoying very much anything you do with your money, right? Like, so it's kind of overdrive in the opposite direction. In our blog post on euzoia.org, we'll link like a questionnaire where you can just like check those questions against you and get an idea for where you stand against those money scripts. But one thing you can anywhere already do is just look at your past, right? Like what in your family was the relationship to money? Like did people even talk about money? Was there like a scarcity or an abundance mindset? Was it something evil or good, right? Like what was the upbringing around money, right? Like for me in my family, like my parents were like both self-employed. It was like all a bit chaotic,
mm, mm,
and I think we were like, I don't know exactly, right? But like I'm sure we were like in the reds every now and then and whatever.
mhm.
Somehow I took away from this that like I just always got to work out anyway. It's like it's coming in and going out and whatever. But like, at the end of the day, it's like it's fine. I think I could have just as well come out of this being like, oh, man, I need security, I need a stable job.
Mm,
So it's interesting to at least explore a little bit how this influences you. And
yeah.
then as with all of these things, it's I think most fun to explore this with others. Maybe sit down with a friend, maybe your partner, maybe your parents actually, and like try to have that conversation, right? Like usually it's a bit taboo to explore our relationship to money, but especially with your partner where you take like a lot of financial decisions together or with friends who can maybe have more of an outside in perspective, it's for sure time well spent. And
Mhm.
yeah, something to also do to establish what's actually my baseline to then take decisions from.
Yeah, my dad was an accountant, so he was always very counting all the coins, and
Yeah.
I feel like you often you yeah you go one of two ways. You become like that as well? You go the opposite way? I think I'm like a bit the opposite. Like I'm just like, yeah, it's gonna work out, like whatever. But it seems like yeah, it's about finding a balance, and maybe yeah, the first step is to understand like where you fall on that sort of spectrum, and like you said, which script you're falling into.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Cool. I think that's it for this week. We will cover, now that you have the basis of how you relate to money and where you stand. We will cover like more like consumption choices, how to grow money, how to get rich, how to secure your money and not get poor, and some other things in the next weeks. But I think this is going to be a good start.
Great. Okay. See you guys next week.
Next week.